Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though. Got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night. It's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
front, goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Bourman and Warner, but Bourman's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, guys. What is going on? And oh my god, my camera has absolutely decided to go away. We cannot have that. Give me 2 seconds to bring that back up, and we will get that sorted. Right, there we go. There we go. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? And welcome to PSGL here for round number 10 of the F4 Championship. My name is, of course, Michael Edwards. Joined alongside me in the commentary box is Mr. Danny Quinn. Quinn, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Of course, we're here at I'm a British Motorsport. We're here at Silverstone, and for once, it looks like it's a decent day there. So, yeah. Very exciting. Of course, we do have a championship that can be decided today. That's very interesting. Yeah, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you mentioned, the championship can be decided here tonight. Let's have a look at the championship in question. So, as you can see, NLR Rara currently leads the way by 18 points. Of course, there's 2 rounds remaining in the season. Of course, at Silverstone, which we are at here tonight, and of course next week in Bahrain. And if Rara outscores Kuhlman and Nico here tonight, championship's wrapped up. Kuhlman has to beat Rara here tonight to really have much of a chance in the championship, but also it's just to keep it alive to the final round. But at the same time, for Nico, he is on the teetering edge of being completely out of it altogether, and there's only those 2 drivers who can really put in a challenge to Rara, and Rara has just been incredibly consistent over the course of the season.
Oh yeah, it definitely has. I think it's something like he's got 4 second places, a 3rd place, 3 4th places, and a 10th place. His consistency has been ridiculous. And he's leading the championship without having a race win.
Yeah, well,
he's definitely due a race win.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely should be due a race win. Of course, we got a lot of people in the chat right now talking. Of course, it is a possible championship decider here tonight in the drivers. Rara, 18 points clear at the top. Will he be wrapping up the championship here at the home of British Motorsport at Silverstone? But let's also look at the other side of the championship here in the Constructors. And as you can see, Williams lead the way in that championship, as well as Rara and Paul as a duo. Combined total of 111. All of the ones coming out there for the Williams F1 team. And they have a 14-point gap to the Alpines in 2nd place. The Haas's are currently in 3rd, 32 points off of the championship lead. 37 points off the top is AlphaTauri in 4th. Now, of course, we've got Aston Martin in 5th on 46 points. The Alfa Romeo's in 6th on 37 with 32 points for the Red Bull Racing Team in 7th. 8th place is the Mercedes on 31 points. Then, of course, we got the McLaren on 16 points. And, of course, the Scuderia Ferraris rounding up the back end of the grid in terms of the constructors on 15 points to their name. Of course, it is definitely going to be one of those races, Quinn, where it's going to be all about making the overtakes count, making them matter. And we've seen many times here at Silverstone, it can go all the way down to the last corner. Like that last DRS straight down in towards Stowe, so crucial.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we saw last season in F6, and it was one of the best races that we commentated that season. Just the battle all the way through the last lap, and then even into the last corner. I think the top 3 were separated by about a 10.5, which was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, if we could see something similar to that, then it's going to be an excellent race here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's of course have a look at the track that we are. Oh, actually, that's the wrong track. I do apologise. For some reason, it has decided to give me. It has decided to give me Suzuka instead of Silverstone. So let me quickly sort that out. 2 seconds, and then we'll be back. There we go. There's the Silverstone circuit in all its glory. 5.8 kilometers, 3.6 miles in length. So many iconic corners, so much overtaking down to happen, as the chat is loving the fumbles here tonight, and I am having an absolute mare. 3.6 miles, 18 corners around the Silverstone circuit. But let's go ahead and jump into a qualifying. Of course, we are 5 minutes into the qualifying session, and as it currently stands, Sasha out on top, and as you can probably see, a bit of a depleted grid here tonight, making it more easier for the championship leader in Rara.
Yeah, definitely is, and just looking down the times that everyone's set at the moment, Paul is actually put in an excellent time there. Only 2 drivers in the 24 so far, but yeah, an excellent time there from Paul, and all the way down to Teacher, it's only about half a second in the top 9, which is still, it's so close. We've seen this the whole season so far, that the whole grid could be separated by about 6 or 7 tenths. So yeah, the qualifying never disappoints. It's always so close between everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always incredibly close here at Silverstone. It's one of those tracks where everyone just knows this circuit like the back of their hands, and it's going to be one of those races where one mistake will cost you absolutely everything. It's also one of those circuits where it is quite easy to pick up the warnings and the invalidations, which of course we've just seen there on board with Tiramisu, who has only managed a 1:34.2 so far in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very tricky circuit to keep inside the track limits, especially through the corners like Cops, and even on the exit of Stowe, people getting a bit too greedy on the throttle. But yeah, it's a very, especially those 2 corners, it's very tricky to keep it on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have around about 11 minutes remaining in the session. Currently we got Sasha out on provisional pole right now with a 24.8, just over a tenth ahead of ETA Paul in second place on a 24.9. They're the only 2 drivers within the 1 minute 24s. Then of course we've got the championship leader Rara in third on a 25.2, just marginally ahead of CPI Fraser in P4, also on a 0.2, and the same with Thiago and Mustache in 5th and 6th respectfully. And look at how close it is from Rara down to Ticho. That just shows how close it is around this circuit.
Yeah, it's definitely a track that, along with Austria, it's definitely a track that people go to really like hone in on. And yeah, you can definitely see from the top 9 being separated by near enough 5.5 tenths.
Yeah, and of course, first man out on his second runs is going to be Nico. Of course, one of the championship contenders as well in Nico. He is the furthest off the pace right now in terms of the championship, so we will stay on board with him, and he's going to give us a flying lap around Silverstone. And so I think I'll. Do you want to do the full lap, or should I do a full lap?
You can handle it. You can take us through it.
Okay, I will take us through a full lap here with Nico around the Silverstone circuit as we come through the Vale Chicane, now through the club section to bring us on to the Hamilton Straight as we head down in towards turn number 1 through Abbey, and now turn number 2 through Farm. First braking zone into Village, turn number 3, braking down third gear there, getting a little bit a little bit caught off guard there, I think, for Nico as we go through the loop at turn number 4. Now through Entree, turn number 5. DRS wide open as we head down the Wellington straight in towards the iconic Brooklands and left field section. Of course, now through Brooklands, now in towards left field. As you need to get a good exit now onto the old National Straight, and Nico does not get a good exit there. Absolutely lights up the rears as he loses the car, but absolute heartbreak there for Nico. Another lap that has gone one then.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's a very crucial very crucial action zone there, and if you get a bit too greedy and just take a bit too much throttle through, you're just there's an example of what can happen with Nico. Just looking at who's going to be furthest along on the
Sasha.
next lap.
It is Sasha now coming through Woodcut now down the National Straight, heading in towards Cops Corner. Flat out 8th gear there for Sasha, now heading towards Maggots, Beckett, and of course Chapel as we head through Maggots and Beckett's right now in towards Chapel onto the Hangar Straight with a DRS wide open, marginally up on this time as well, Sasha, as we head down in towards Stowe Corner, and breaking down for Stowe now running through, and of course Sasha in towards the Vale King. 4th gear, the gear of choice here for Sasha, heading through a club and across the line. Is it going to be a better time? It is, and it's a 24.7 in there for Sasha.
Yeah, it was a very, very solid lap there from Sasha. Was marginally up in sector 1 and sector 2, but he made up all the time in sector 3. So, yeah, very, very impressive there from Sasha.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're going to see if Rara is going to be able to respond over a 10th lap as Rara now to the line. Improves by almost 2.5 tenths into the 24s as Fraser actually jumps back ahead of him there on track as well. We've got Tiago on a lap. I think he's just finished his lap actually. We've got Mustache out on a lap right now, coming through left field and trying to get a good exit there, but it is a bit of a snap for him on the rear.
Yeah, it's just, once again we've seen them really struggle with traction on the exit there, and yeah, it's still relatively close with all of the with the whole field spread. It's still relatively close from Lawrence down, well, from Sasha down to Lawrence it is about a second, so it's still got Nico in the pits. He's going to be probably waiting until the end of the session to really put in a lap, and he's going to have all the pressure on himself there. Going back to Mustache, I don't think it's going to be it is an improvement actually, just over 2 tenths, and he moves himself up into P6.
Yeah, Mustache finding a bit more time out there. I mean, we got Fashion Goal, I think, just finished, a small improvement there for him. We got Frank on a cool down lap. We got Tiramisu, I think, is on a potentially he's on a fast lap. I mean, the flashing of the red engine light on his dash bar indicates that he is very low on fuel, so it might not actually be a fast lap here for Tiramisu, but yeah, it's definitely not. He has completely backed off it in towards Chapel. But yeah, I mean, qualifying times bunching up, and we're looking potentially at a mid-24 here in qualifying for pole position in F4.
It could definitely be a mid-24. I think slightly could be a 1.46 if, well, anyone can really put in a lap like we've seen before, but really I'm looking at the likes of Rara, maybe Fraser, well, any of the top 5 really, as those have been the main qualifying threats here. They're all throughout the season, all 5 of these drivers have been excellent with qualifying. Even Nico could put in a very good lap, as we've seen multiple times this season. But right now, he's got all the pressure on him, and he's involved in title fight this season. So, yeah, I'm not sure how Nico's going to be feeling right now.
Yeah, I mean, Nico out there nice and early, as you probably would expect, not having a lap time on the board. He needs to try and get something on the board, as he's the only man at this moment in time to not have a lap time set.
Yeah, he's gonna have to really focus in and put in a lap of his life if he wants to come out of this race still in a title fight. Well, obviously it doesn't matter in the qualifying, but it will help him if he's in a great position for the race.
Yeah, probably the worst thing that Nico would want is to not get a lap time on the board and having to start at the back. And yeah, I mean, starting at the back is not going to be ideal. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those ones where Nico has to get a lap time on the board. He needs to build that confidence. But we've seen through Brooklands and Luffield where he's at that snap at the rear, and it's just not gone his way here in qualifying. And let's go to the people in the chat. This is the PlayStation tiers, F4 in the PlayStation tiers. Unfortunately, Yano does not race in the PlayStation tiers. It is PC F1 for Yano, unfortunately. But it's PS, not PC, guys.
Yeah, Nico's already actually backed off. He's going to be charging up his ERS again to potentially go. Well, he's going to be going for another lap here, so definitely wasn't happy with how he was through the first sector, which is just going to add even more pressure onto him for getting this absolute final lap in. He's going to have no time after this next lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, PSF4 championship could potentially be decided here tonight. Of course, NLR Rara leads the way by 18 points. Of course, as he outscores his 2 rivals in NLR Coolman and, of course, LDL Nico F1. Then, of course, the championship will be his, as Nico yet to get a lap time on the board. He will have one now, but it's not going to be competitive. But he is about to go once again on his final qualifying run. All the pressure on the Haas F1 driver now, as he is coming down in towards turn number 4.
Yeah, just looking through Nico as he comes through the loop and Aintree. He got a good run through the loop and good exit through Aintree, just going down straight now. He is about 4.5 tenths up on his time. He did have a banker time, so maybe that's what he was going for, just to have a time. Well, having that delta come up is very useful for drivers, and seeing that he's 4.5 tenths up is going to give him more and more confidence as he goes round.
Absolutely heading in towards Brooklands and left field as Tijo gets disqualified for illegal blocking. My God. I mean, I've seen 5 place grid blocks and half for that, but I don't think I've seen a disqualification for it.
Yeah, it happened to him 3 times during his out lap. It was funny because, well, it's because Tiago was behind him.
Well, on board with Nico as he comes through the club section now for the final corner, and it is going to be P9 for Nico. Not ideal, as the checker flag has fallen in the session. We have a Williams coming to the line of Rara, the championship leader, and Rara to the line up to P2 onto the front row. 24.7 there for Rara. As I believe we got an Alfa Romeo. Is that Sasha? That is Sasha. Sasha's invalidated, so no improvement there from Sasha. Coolman to the line. Coolman, just not an improvement there. We have a Ferrari on Mustache to the line. Small improvement there for Mustache, not enough to get him up any positions. Lauren now to the line. Lauren with a 2-10 improvement up into P10. And now we have the second Ferrari of Frank, who's just completely lost it, coming out of stow there. We just jumped on board like that, and it is just absolutely gone for the Ferrari man. But we have Frieza, who just decides to come into the pits, obviously not looking to improve on his time. We got Fashion Gold, who has invalidated on his lap. Next man across the line will be Thiago in P7. Of course, guys, I mean, Yano is PCF1. I want to repeat, Yano is PCF1. This is PlayStation 4. So, yeah, it's not quite PCF1, guys. Not quite PC.
Yeah, we have, well, Nico is just going to be on his in lap now. Yeah, it's very good qualifying for Sasha and Rara being so close, within half, well, just outside half a tenth. Sasha. And his close, well, Rara's closest rivals, Coolman in P4, directly behind him on the grid. And it's in P9, so he's a bit further down, so it's going to be difficult for Nico to catch up, but having Coolman, having Rara right ahead of him, it's going to be very good. It's going to be putting the pressure on Rara, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rara will be quite pleased with himself with getting onto the front row. But we're running for the order one more time. It is, of course, Sasha on pole position with a 24.7. Half a tenth ahead of Rara, the championship leader, who joins him on the front row. Teammate in pole in P3 there for Rara, so he has a bit of backup. And of course, we got Koolman in 4th, Frieza in 5th with Mustache in 6th, Thiago in 7th with Fashion Gold in 8th, Nico in 9th, and Lauren rounding out the top 10. Outside the top 10, we have Frank in 11th, Timasu in 12th, and of course, Ticho is going to be in P13. I'm not sure if we're going to get a lobby restart due to the situation with obviously the disqualification. We'll have to keep you updated on that, but we'll be back in just a moment as we have a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, we are getting a restart. We are getting a restart. Yeah. I can't remember.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are back. The lobby has been reset, Quinn, and honestly, very close in qualifying. Sasha, reckon you could have gone a bit quicker. Sasha thinks you could have gone a bit quicker, which is a little bit concerning for the rest of the field, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, for Sasha to say that he could have got a 0.5, yes. We've seen multiple times someone be pole, especially Rara getting pole by at least 2 or 3 attempts. If Sasha can pull out a 24.5, then yeah, it's going to have everyone else in the field a little bit worried going into this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we do have 13 drivers ready to go into battle here at Silverstone, and it's going to be an incredible one, and it's just going to be one of those races, I think, where we're just going to get action throughout the grid, and I am all here for it.
Yeah, it should be an excellent race, really, and especially having 3 people still fighting to, well, one person fighting to claim the championship and the other 2 fighting to keep it alive. It should produce some very exciting racing here.
No, I mean, it's going to produce an exciting race. One thing that we also need to remind the drivers as well, make sure you remember your setups, because it can be absolute heartbreaking if you get a restart lobby and you forget your setups. But of course, we are going to be heading to the grid any moment now, as the drivers are getting the setup sorted and they are getting the strategy sorted. But very strange, Quinn. It's looking like clear conditions in Silverstone. It's not British weather, as we are 5 red lights,
no.
and we are underway here in Silverstone. The 5 red lights are out, and it is Sasha who led the way off the line. Fantastic start there for Sasha, as Rara is side by side with him coming through Abbey and Farm, and made have a look down on the inside in towards Village. In fact, no one's going to back out there, as we got Paul and Koolman going side by side. And of course, it's important for Koolman to get through on Paul as soon as possible, because he has to get himself onto the back of Rara early on.
Yeah, definitely does, and it looks like it isn't happening, and his teammate's not doing himself any favours here. Fraser's got past Koolman now.
Yeah, Fraser getting through on his teammate. Of course, the soft compound tyres against the hards. You would expect Fraser to have the better grip anyway early on, as in the background, look at that, as Lauren had a little peek down the inside of Nico. Remember, Nico, the 3rd driver in this championship equation, along with Koolman and Rara, and he's down in P9 and under pressure from the McLaren in behind them.
Yeah, of course, soft tyre is going to be the better race tyre, well, better for the start of this race. And just looking through everyone's hard choices, is seeing Lauren actually get past the inside of Nico there. Drives a little bit wide, so that'll probably be a warning on the exit of Stowe. But yeah, it's very different tyre choices that we've seen from, well, the previous races this season. We've got the majority of the field actually on the softs, and then 4 drivers on the hards and 3 drivers on the mediums.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
very interesting strategy calls from everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The strategies have actually thrown me off a little bit. Of course, with the variation of what the drivers are going for. We got a few on the softs, we got a few on the mediums, and a few on the hard compound tyres. But right now, we're on board with this battle for the race lead, as the championship leader in Rara on the back of Sasha. Remember, Rara is in championship position and could win the championship from this position right now. I mean, he doesn't need to beat Sasha on track. He just needs to beat Koolman and Nico on track. That's it. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah, that's all he has to do. And like I was saying to you before, well, like we were discussing before we went live, I think Rara will want to do this on a race win. He won't want to want to claim the championship on a race win. Or he might just go the opposite way and win the championship without winning a race.
And it would be a brilliant achievement if he can win the championship without winning a race. He'll just show the level of consistency. He does set the fast lap, immediately beaten by Fraser, who did get through on pole. In the end, we did miss that. That was off camera, but Paul on the mediums, and obviously dropping it too far back off the top two. Of course, being on the slower compound tyre at this moment in the race. He will come back at them later on, so he needs to make sure he can somewhat stay with Fraser and hope Fraser's got the pace to drag him back into this DRS train for the race lead. But now, look at Rara for the race lead. DRS wide open. Job done in towards Brooklands there for the Williams.
It's a great move there for Rara getting past Sasha there. And Fraser's slowly but surely making his way back up to the back of these two. If you look at the ERS usage, Fraser's been really depleting his battery. He's only on about 15% now. As you look, well, everyone in, well, the top three have really depleted their ERS. And, well, Tiago is seeming, well, actually, Ticho is seemingly in the best position ERS-wise.
Yeah, as Sasha gets himself back through on Rara with DRS. As you mentioned, Fraser has managed to get himself back in position here. Of course, he is within DRS range of the top two, exactly what he would have wanted. And Paul and Kuhlman will be absolutely counting their lucky stars that Fraser has done this, but they need to do the hard work now in staying with these soft runners.
Yeah, definitely need to do that. And yeah, just looking back at the whole field, everyone's in a DRS train now.
And that is the nature.
I think that 1 second, yeah, that 1 second gap that was between Fraser and Rara, that closed up, and everyone else brought everyone else with him.
Yeah, it has absolutely brought everyone else with him, and of course that is the nature of the Silverstone circuit, where of course the DRS straight does provide a lot of close action and keeps everyone bunched up as well, down the Wellington Straight and down the Hangar Straight also. And with the tricky corners and that you're going to be following in the dirty air of the car in front, it's going to be absolutely crucial to keep your warnings to an absolute minimum.
Yeah, of course, like I mentioned in qualifying, the main areas for concern with your track limits are going to be through Cops and on the exit of Stowe, so you have to be not really cautious, but you just got to be mindful of the track limits there and not get too greedy on the throw on the exit of Stowe.
Yeah, absolutely. Sasha holding on to the race lead ahead of Rara right now. Everyone kind of hovering around a half a second gap to the car ahead of him. But the thing is, everyone has DRS on each other, so we're essentially waiting for one of the tyres to kind of drop off, or Rara to go for a move on Sasha here for the race lead. And potentially just the race strategies starting to come into play, because the drivers right now are absolutely in truly a train right now.
Yeah, they definitely are, and it's going to be interesting strategy-wise what the soft runners do, because ideally the hards go around, well, 15, 16 laps at a maximum. So you'll be big snap there from Sasha, and Rara just starts to close in. That was a big snap there on the exit.
Yeah, at the same time,
go on the curves and put the power down.
At the same time as well, you got Paul closing in on the back of Fraser as well, so we could get a double overtake here for the Williams pairing as Rara tries to go for the race lead, and Paul will try and go for the final podium position. As we go on board with Rara in the slipstream with DRS wide open, heading down in towards Stowe, and it's not going to happen as Rara backed out of that move there, so not wanting to go for the overtake at this time, maybe trying to get his battery up to a good level.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's already up to 40%. So yeah, he's just recovering his battery, and he's still keeping Sasha within arm's length, but
Lauren
I'm
round.
not sure what's happened there to Laurent.
Yeah, Lauren, see coming through Club, the final corner, and heartbreak there for the McLaren. Was in a very good position inside the top 10 before that spin. Let's have a look. Have we got any wing damage on the McLaren? As the broadcast camera not giving me a good angle whatsoever here, as we're looking at the side pod and that, and visually doesn't look like any wing damage for Lawrence, so might have got away with that, but you never know. As we go back on board with the guys at the front, as Coleman's actually closed in on pole here on lap 6.
Yeah, I think our tyres are just starting to get into a working window around this point, so they've still got plenty of mileage to do on these hard tyres, and Paul will be getting towards the best out of these medium tyres. And looking up at Rara, just going off the racing line, making Sasha still aware that he's still right behind him. Yeah, like I was talking about strategy before, the 15 or 16 laps for the hard, so you'd expect soft runners to potentially come in around about lap 10, lap 11 if they want to go on to the hards. The mediums go about, I'd say they're best for about 12 laps, so if they really want to start pushing it, as Sasha there really started sliding on the entry to the loop, but he's still keeping Rara behind him. As going on board with Rara, he's in the slipstream using the DRS, but still decides not to go for a move on Sasha.
Yeah, electing to stay behind the Alfa Romeo for the time being, but you can see Sasha beginning to struggle on his tyres a little bit slidey in a couple of these corners now. The back end starting to give way a little bit for the Alfa Romeo, and the Williams is right there ready to pounce. And the question is obviously going to be, when is Rara going to pounce? Because at some point he will pounce, and look how much more confidence that Rara has going into Maggotts and Beckett. Just able to close up through Maggotts and Beckett. Does back off before the entry in towards Chapel. Doesn't want to get into the slipstream. He's just using DRS, and not going to go for the move again is Rara. Going to sit behind Sasha for the time being. Knows he's in a good championship position as Tito gets through on Nico. In fact, Nico might have a better run coming out of Stowe, and potentially could look at coming back at him. No, he's going to back out of it, not go for a move. And this is big, as Nico is 2 seconds off of the front runners train, and honestly, at this moment in time, you've got to think that Nico's championship right here is potentially falling away from him, as Tito gets a big slide coming through a village, and Nico closing up but not willing to go for the overtake, as we're going to revert now back to the front as Rara closes up to the back of Sasha for the race lead.
Yeah, Rara's definitely keeping Sasha honest here, and it seems like Rara's tyres are just in a much better condition this moment in the race than Sasha. As you can see, it's already back up to 65%. Fraser's been building it up as well as everyone has, but Paul is looking best at the moment. Out of the top 5, and yeah, you'd have to say that Paul, his tyres would be, well, you'd say that they'd actually be in a better nick than the top 3 at the moment on the softs.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Paul should have the advantage in terms of the tyres. At this moment in the race, I'm pretty sure he'll have the advantage for another lap or two. Then he'll go straight into the hands of Coleman in behind on the hard compound tyres. But this is actually incredible for Coleman, because of course he will be on the quicker tyres come the end of this race, so he'll have the opportunity of really putting big pressure on Rara in terms of the championship fight. Of course, remember, 18 points of gap between these two drivers in the championship. If Rara finishes ahead of Coleman, then Rara wins the F4 championship on the PlayStation tiers here in PSGL.
Yeah, actually Rara had a little bit of a slide there, and yeah, maybe Raro's just starting to struggle a little bit on these softs now. There's just a 3-tenth gap between, well, the top 5 individually, and Coolman is in, well, not in the best position. He's towards the end of this DRS train at the start, and people say, oh, in the DRS train you don't want to be third. Well, he's currently 5th in the DRS train. So it's going to be very difficult for him to get past anyone in this current situation.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's going to be difficult. Obviously, in the DRS train, you're going to have to use a decent amount of battery to try and get through on the car in front of you that will also have DRS, as well as, once again, through Club. Rara closes up to the back of Sasha. We're on board with Fraser, who did drop back a little bit, as Rara now potentially is starting to think about eyeing up a move as he closes right up to the back. Has a little peek down the inside in towards the village, but doesn't want to commit to it, does Rara. So he's going to sit in behind and wait for a DRS. Probably not going to go for it in towards Brooklands, but maybe this time in towards Stowe he will go for the overtake.
Yeah, well, him, I believe it's just really...
Sorry, I just heard Clark Nico dropping down the order to outside of the points paying position, and yeah, 1.8 off the back, 2 seconds off the back now of the car in front of him, 2.5 now as he's falling further and further behind. I think Nico might have a bit of wing damage and potentially championship over in terms of Nico in the Drivers' Championship, but right now we're on board with Rara as he's closing up, heading in towards Stowe, but again decides to back out, and Rara needs to be a little bit careful because and in fact, as Rara tried to sell the dummy, and my god, Sasha went into the pits, and Fraser, very late call to come into the pits here, as Rara is going to continue on. Paul's going to continue on, obviously, on those mediums, and same with Koolman on the hards. But my god, Rara, they tried to dummy everyone into the pits, and he actually pulled it off. He did dummy everyone into the pits behind him. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for him though, but Sasha, 5-second speeding penalty. That is huge.
Yeah, definitely. It was very questionable there, as that could have ended in disaster with Sasha cutting across Rara's line. Thankfully it didn't cause an incident. But yeah, now Rara's really got to start pushing on, and he's got to hope that this overcut actually works. And yeah, he's using his batteries, so he's most likely going to be coming in this lap, and he's going to be pushing like a stab back.
Absolutely, and let's go. You've got to remember the pit stop loss around here is quite considerable as well. I mean, I believe it's 28 seconds in the pit stop that you lose.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest pit stops. It's one of the biggest pit lanes on the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely, and we should be seeing Rara dive into the pits now because he has to cover off the rest of the field, and yet Rara into the pits. And now that does release both Paul and Koolman to go on. We're going to go on board with Sasha here. As Sasha is coming through Chapel onto the hangar straight now. And we're going to see if Sasha, Fraser and Thiago can maybe get themselves ahead of Rara here. Of course, Rara still making his way into his pit box as we got an interesting line from Sasha there coming through Stowe. Not ideal as we head through the Vale chicane, and Nico into the pits, retires from the session. Championship over for Nico. No points for him, and it is all over. And I'm not gonna lie, it didn't look like it was on for Nico. It looked like he really was struggling with this circuit.
Yeah, definitely. And just looking at the gap, it's a 2.3 second gap from Rara to Sasha, so the undercut from Sasha, well, from Rara faking into the pits and kind of forcing Sasha, well, making Sasha pit in, has really actually put him in a worse position than he was before.
Yeah, I mean, Rara, what's it called? I mean, the dummy worked, but yeah, I think it was one of those situations where he probably would have been better just committing to the pit lane. But
Yeah.
it's one of those ones. I'm sure Rara will not really mind that he's been jumped by Fraser and Sasha here, because in reality, in his mind, he's not racing them. He's racing Kuhlman, who is currently in P2 on the set of the hardcore tires, yet to make a pit stop. In a Kuhlman, of course, P2 in the championship, 18 points off the back of Rara. Remember, for a race win, it is 16 points. The gap is 18 points. So as long as Rara finishes ahead of Kuhlman here, then Rara will take the Drivers' Championship. And of course, remember, the points here in PSGL, 16 points for the race win, 12 points for second place, 10 points for third, 8 points for fourth, and then it goes 6 points for fifth, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the remainder of the top 10. And of course, Kuhlman, if Kuhlman was to finish in second and Rara in third, they would be 16 points apart from each other, but the championship would still be potentially open and up for grabs, as Kuhlman now overtakes for the race lead, overtaking Paul on the hanger straight down in towards Stowe. Kuhlman would be able to keep the championship alive even if he was to finish second and Rara third, due to the fact that Kuhlman has won races this season and Rara has yet to win a race. But Kuhlman into the pits now, off those hard compound tyres, and Frank, 5-second time penalty for him, not ideal. On board now, Sasha gets the overtaken by Fraser, who moves himself up into the net race lead here, and Fraser now in a very good position, as Rara just on the teetering edge of DRS, potentially could get himself in it on this lap.
Yeah, he definitely could, and just keeping an eye on Kuhlman. He's just getting to the end of it now. But yeah, he's going to be quite a ways back, and even Tiago's going to jump in. But yeah, he's currently, well, out of everyone that's pit, he's currently in a net P5. He's still got a lot to, well, make up to get onto the back of Rara, but he will be on fresher medium tyres.
Yeah, so guys, let me know in the chat right now, will Rara seal the Drivers' Championship here tonight in PSGL F4 on the PlayStation tiers? Of course, myself, Michael Edwards, and Danny Quinn taking you through the action as always here in F4. As Rara currently in a net P3, well, a net P2 if you take into consideration Sasha's 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane, as Fraser in a net race lead, as we wait for Paul and Moustache to come into the pits. And of course, they're not going to come into the pits. I think they're going to stretch these mediums all the way out to a set of soft compound tyres. Lap 15 of 26. Paul leads the way, Moustache in second, Fraser in third, Sasha in fourth. Rara, the championship leader, in fifth, in a championship winning position right now. Tiago in sixth. Kuhlman, the only driver that could keep the championship alive, currently in seventh, and of course around about 5 seconds off the back of Rara, who's all over the back of Sasha now.
Yeah, I think Rara, well, he's really just trying to push that pass. He goes for the move.
Into the loop, down the inside goes Rara. They're side by side on the exit now, coming through entry. Now, down the Wellington Street with DRS side by side, wheel to wheel. The Alfa Romeo, the Williams, as they head in towards Brooklyn. The inside line will go to Rara, and it's going to be Rara taking that position up into a net P2, and Rara now, I think, wants to win the championship with a race win. I think it's been long overdue that Rara has been on the top step of the podium. Remember, last week, it was close. It was close, and it has been close several times for Rara in so far this season in terms of taking a race win. And definitely could potentially be looking at a race win to seal off the championship here.
Yeah, it could definitely be the case. And just looking at Kuhlman at the moment, he's within DRS range of Tiago now, but What has happened now with Sasha? He's just got past. What? Oh my god, what a move there from Sasha.
Yeah, absolutely. Sasha getting back through on Rara, and obviously Fraser getting overtaken by the pair of them there. So Fraser down the order in P5. Sasha has taken the race lead out on track, but of course with that 5 second, it is not ideal for him. Meanwhile, Coolman looking down the inside into Village on Thiago. Yes, that move done. And I believe Coolman will also have DRS, so he's able to try and pull away. 3.3 the seconds is the gap between Coolman and Fraser. And if Rara, Fraser and Sasha battle enough, that's going to bring Coolman right back into it.
Yeah, it definitely will. He's just got to remember that he's got the fresher tyres. He's going to have the better tyres at the end of the stint, barring Bull and Mustache when they come in for softs. He's going to have quite a good tyre advantage on Rara being 2 laps. And as well on Fraser's teammate in Alpine, you'd think that it wouldn't make it too difficult as you have Bull and Mustache aside. Now is the time to make their stop. And looking at Rara, once again he's choosing not to make the move on Sasha, so yeah, he's potentially just going to be waiting until the right opportunity.
Yeah, but again, I don't think Rara minds if Sasha beats him on track, because obviously he does have that penalty, does Sasha,
Yeah.
and Rara will know that. But right now, Rara will only be focused on one man, and that man is in P4, and that is Coolman. Obviously, the gap is closing. 2.3 is the gap now. 2.2, as those fresher medium tyres are really helping Coolman close the gap. And Rara now is, oh no, he's not going to go for it, and Lauren T has lost it through club yellow flags out in the final sector, and Lauren able to get himself back and away as Paul on those soft tyres getting the job done early on Ticho, as you got Mustache in it as well, and Mustache needs to stick onto the back of Paul, but the door gets shut there on the Mustache as he's unable to get through on Ticho, and yeah, the Red Bull playing a bit of a spoiler here for the Ferrari. Oh, actually, what a run! What a run from Mustache out of Cobbs, and he's going to be ahead going into Maggots and Beckett's, and of course it will be Mustache now into P7.
Yeah, just looking at the gap that Coolman has managed to close, gap is now 1.5 seconds, whereas right at the start of this lap it was about 2.5 seconds. It's still closing. Just on the edge of DRS range now.
Coolman's now within
DRS range for Fraser.
Yeah, Coolman has now joined this train. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the championship leader, Rara, leading this race. The only man who can keep the championship alive is Coolman on fresher medium tyres in P4. He has joined the back of this train now. Coolman has to get through on Fraser and then Sasha to get onto the back of Rara. And ideally, what he wants is potentially Sasha and Fraser to get the move done on Rara down the DRS straight, so he can get himself ahead of Rara at the earliest opportunity. As Lauren out of the session retires in the pit lane, the McLaren's day is over and done with, and is unfortunate there for Lauren, and yeah, heartbreak to see the race end there for the McLaren here at Silverstone. But look at the grip and the pace that Coolman has. Fraser, will it be team orders here? Will Fraser move out of the way of Coolman? And I think he will. I think he will. Yep, the order has been given for the Alpines. Coolman now up into P3. And now Rara, Sasha, Coolman. That is the order. And in fact, Coolman could get a good enough run here. He can have it down the inside in towards the Vale chicane. Thinks better of it and will stay in behind Sasha for the time being. But my God, now guys, it's starting to get tense for the championship.
Yeah, we've got 8 laps of racing, including this one, and it's going to be such such an exciting end to this race. We've got
Koolman
looking for the
Koolman there, a very
bit desperate
opportunistic lunge here from Koolman. It did work out in the end, but small little bit of contact there. I don't think Sasha was really expecting Koolman to have a look there, but Koolman now up into P2. Let's look at this. Sasha trying to get back through. Trying to get back through with a switchback. Not much room there for Sasha to really work with. And this is not what Koolman wants. He does not want to be battling with Sasha here. But maybe through Cobbs he can get a better run out of the corner to maybe get this move done before Maggots and Beckett. And he's got sitting behind. But my God, these two battling very close. And honestly, both of them are really risking their races here with some of the overtakes that we just saw.
Definitely, well, at least for Sasha, he's already got a penalty, so he doesn't need to be battling Koolman this much, and especially when he's, a championship contender, you don't want to be causing any incidents with them.
Absolutely not, as Koolman again all over the back of Sasha. Paul with a new fastest lap. Obviously, he's in P5 right now. 2 seconds of clear air for the second Williams man in this race. And of course, we do have both of the Alpines here in P3 and P4, which is technically a net P2, P3. So, I mean, Constructors is going to be getting very interesting as well. But right now, Rara is in position to take the Drivers' Championship. That is the only thing that matters at this moment in the race. Rara is that man who could be sealing the championship here tonight. Koolman, the only man who can keep it alive, needs to finish ahead of Rara.
Yeah, it does, and if he does manage to finish ahead of him, it's only... Well, if he can manage to get a fastest lap, which is actually covered by Paul, like you said, when he got it, it looks like Koolman's gonna... He did use a little bit of his ERS on the exit of Chapel there. So he's really trying to push up and get onto the back of Sasha, but Sasha is really actually getting onto the back of Rara now. I think Rara's playing a little bit of a game here, I think. He's just keeping Sasha within DRS range to make it as difficult as possible for Koolman to get past him.
I mean, Rara right now obviously knows that Koolman will have the better grip at the end of this race compared to what's called both of those two. Look at this now, Koolman tries to get his car alongside again through the loop and gets a better run out of the corner using his ERS on the DRS as Sasha tries to squeeze Koolman all the way to the inside as we go through Brooklands and now in towards left field. As look again, Sasha trying to get his car back on the inside, but this time I don't think it's going to work. And now Fraser is going to be there to back up his teammates side by side, Fraser and Sasha, as they head down in towards Cops. And Fraser on the inside, Sasha holds it around the outside. Brilliant racing between these two. The Alfa Romeo, the Alpine. It is absolutely kicking off here. Lap 21 or 26 here at Silverstone.
Yeah, that was it. I really thought that there was going to be an incident there between Sasha and Koolman. Really thought that Sasha, well, it was a very opportunistic move to go down the inside once again and try and force his way past, but it didn't work out for himself and nearly allowed Fraser to go through. And of course Fraser's looking the best in terms of ERS at the moment. I think Fraser's main goal is to just get ahead of Sasha and create a buffer, because look at Paul, he's right on the gearbox of Fraser now. So yeah, the best thing Fraser can do is either hold up Paul or get past Sasha.
Well, right now this is where things are going to get very interesting, because obviously you got Paul on those soft tyres. If he can get through onto the back of Koolman, then Rara's got an ally there. But the same with Fraser as well. If Fraser can get himself ahead of Sasha, then Koolman has an ally right there, able to back him up in this race and keep the fight between Rara and Koolman. Remember, we have seen before this season where Koolman's been able to take victory away from Rara at the end of the race. I believe Monza was the last time we saw that happen, as I believe Koolman overtook Rara to take victory in Monza, as Rara now under pressure from his championship rival.
Yeah, I believe we saw it in Miami as well with Koolman. Well, actually, no, I think that was Fraser who took the win away from Rara in Miami. So, yeah, Fraser in Miami did Koolman a very good, well, a very big favour there, but Fraser, he's past Sasha now and he's got an 8/10 gap to his teammate, and now Paul, he's got to get past Sasha.
Yeah,
but look at Koolman, he's within, well, just about within 3/10 of Rara. Yeah, really starting to apply the pressure now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he's not even enabled his DRS.
Ladies and gentlemen, lap 23 of 26. The battle for the race win is the battle for the Drivers' Championship. If Rara finishes ahead of Koolman, the championship has been decided. It is Rara's. If Koolman finishes ahead of Rara here, the gap closes by 4, meaning that we will go into the final round of the championship with both championships up for grabs.
Rara had a better run there through Maggots and Beckett, so that just extends a little bit, but he actually, Koolman got a better exit going out of Chapel. He's going to go to the outside line. Rara doesn't defend it, so now Rara, you think, would be in a better position coming into these last few.
Oh, Paul and
laps
Sasha side by side through the club's Vale chicane, sorry to cut in there, as Paul on those soft tyres trying to get through, and now we have a checkerboard situation of Koolman, Rara, Fraser, Paul, Alpines versus Williams, and both Rara and Koolman have their teammates to back them up now.
Yeah, you just gotta think, well, Paul's tyres are going to be in so much, well, going to be arguably about the same condition, and they're only going to get worse towards the end of this race, so might be a little too late for Paul to really make a difference here in this championship fight. Fraser only having 1 lap older tyres than Rara, he could really make a difference here.
Yeah, and it's all going to come down to who's going to have DRS and be in the plum spot on the final lap. We are on lap 24 of 26. Koolman right now is in the race lead and keeping the championship alive. Rara, the championship leader in P2, with a golden opportunity to take his first race win of the season, and in doing so, win the Drivers' Championship here in F4. As Rara closes up, going to have a little peek down the inside, but not going to commit to it. He needs to be careful with this, because obviously he has Fraser in behind him, and Fraser's got Paul over the back of him. So I don't think Fraser's going to be wanting to sit around and wait for one of these two to make a move on each other. He's going to try and get through as swiftly as possible. Same with Paul as well, because Paul is going to be wanting to help out his teammate in any way possible.
Yeah, and I think just Fraser, I don't know, it's difficult for him. He either wants to get past Rara and get a car in between those two, or just defend for his life against Paul, but Paul is really starting to push on. He's looking for the inside line. He's getting side by side with Fraser. Fraser holds the outside line, which becomes the inside line. And it's great defending here from Paul, and great car placement, because he's still in P3 and he's holding up Paul.
Yep, Fraser doing absolutely everything possible to try and back Paul up and try to keep this fight between Koolman and Rara. As we are on the penultimate lap of the race, we are coming into the final sector on the penultimate lap. It is Koolman in the race lead, and Rara currently in P2. And Rara, if I'm Rara, I'm not really looking for an overtake here unless Fraser is going to try it, and I don't think Fraser is. So Rara is going to sit in behind, and he's going to make sure that he has the plum spot at the end on the final lap.
Yeah, now getting on to the final lap, it's maybe Rara who's got an advantage in the ERS front, about 20% more, and Coolman's already using it. Both of them are already using the ERS. And yeah, now it's just about, well, Rara has still got a decent amount on Coolman, so it's going to be nip and tuck to see who can stay ahead and keep ahead. Coolman, yeah, he's using it sparingly, and Rara, he's still got about 45% to play with.
Yeah, this is all going to be about the tyre wear now, as Coolman does have slightly fresher tyres. So Rara needs to use some of the battery on these straights to kind of stick with Coolman here, because you'll get a little bit of a gap in the corners, and that is going to be key for Coolman. It's going to be key for Rara as well, as we are going through Cops Corner for the final time in this race. It is Coolman who currently leads the way, but for how much longer, I don't know, as we head through Maggots and Beckett's right now, and we're going through Chapel and onto the hangar straight for the final time. DRS wide open, ERS in play, as look at this now, Coolman looking to try and defend this position as he's going to move to the middle of the track, and look at Rara down the inside. Rara down the inside, full commitment there from the Williams, and he does it on the final lap. Is he about to take his first race win in the championship decider here? And Rara crosses the line, takes victory here in Silverstone, and wins the Drivers' Championship, as Coolman, I think, had picked up a penalty at the end, as Fraser gets P2, Paul gets P3, the podium there for the Williams, Mustache in P4 with Coolman there in P5. My God, Quinn, what have we just seen?
Yeah, I think Coolman was just so frustrated because he had it in his hands and he just spun up the tyres there. He didn't get a penalty at all. He just spun up the tyres.
Fair enough. So it is Rara who takes victory, his first race win of the season, and with that becomes the PSGL PlayStation F4 Drivers Champion here in season 35. My God, what a season it has been, and an absolute incredible season for Rara. Mr. Consistent throughout the entirety of the season, and to seal it with a race win at the home of British Motorsport at Silverstone, gotta be special for the lad. Gotta be special.
Yeah, it was it was a fantastic race for championship fight, and yeah, right up until the last corner, it was anyone's. Well, right up until Stowe, it was anyone's race to win, and as soon as Rara got the inside line and got past Coolman, it was his to lose, and he managed to stick it for the last two corners, and yeah, he thoroughly deserves a race win, and with that, he deserves to win the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll run you through the order one more time. It is Rara with the race win with Fraser in P2. Paul comes through with the fastest lap as well as the final podium position in P3. Mustache in P4 with NLR Coolman. Commiserations to him in P5. Tiago in P6. Sasha with that time penalty comes down in P7. Ticho in P8. Fashion Gold in P9. And Tiramisu picks up that final points paying position in P10. Of course, I believe Frank was the last of the finishers down in P11. And then, of course, our two non-finishers were Lauren T and, of course, Nico as well. But, guys, as you may see here, we do have a brand new sponsor in Sim Racing Center. Of course, code PSGL. When you are on the shop in Sim Racing Center, and we will like to play you a cheeky little ad for it. So we'll be back in around 30 seconds. Well. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously special thank you to our sponsors, Corsa GT Omega and Sim Racing Centre. But my God, Quinn, we have seen the Drivers' Championship decided here in round number 10 at Silverstone. And of course, I'm going to do a quick bit of maths here to see if the constructors have also been sealed as well. But why don't you give me your thoughts on this race as I quickly do some maths?
Yeah, I think that as a whole, Rara to really be putting the pressure on Sasha in the early stages of the race, and then of course Sasha getting that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane really opened the door for Rara to really take a foothold in this race. And yeah, Coolman with, well, everyone else with an alternate strategy, and Coolman with the classic strategy with seen the whole season doing the hard to mediums, where everyone else was doing a little bit of a mixture. It was very chaotic in the strategy front, but yeah, Rara was able to make his strategy work for him, and he got the overtake done in, well, at Stowe, and he just didn't look back on the last lap. And yeah, he thoroughly deserves the race win, and he thoroughly deserves the championship for being the most consistent driver this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Rara, massive congratulations on the Drivers' Championship. I have just run the numbers, I have crunched the numbers, and the championship in the constructors is still up for grabs. The gap to my math right now is 22 points. Of course, the maximum that you can gain in a race would be 28. So as long as Williams outscore Alpine by 7 points in the season finale in Bahrain, then of course it will be sealed in the season finale. Of course, a quick reminder of the final race on the calendar. It is of course Bahrain next week on the 29th of January, the season finale. We do have one championship up for grabs, the Constructors. The Drivers' Championship has already been wrapped up, and Rara seals that here tonight. Absolutely. And of course, he does get my Driver of the Day as well, does Rara, 100%.
Yeah, well, try not to do the same person, but I have to say Rara as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a champion's drive from the champion. Like, there was just no other way to put it.
Yeah.
Didn't push when he didn't need to. He kept his composure when he needed to. And obviously, he just timed the overtake to absolute perfection. Saved his ERS well. And he just had all the tools in the book to get that job done. But yeah, that is going to bring an end to the action here in F4 here tonight. We'd like to thank everyone who has tuned in and has shown support in the stream. Of course, I have been Michael Edwards. He has been Danny Quinn, and we'll catch you next week for the season finale in Bahrain. Until then, guys, it is goodbye from us.
He's got the inside, all here is through, on the left-hand side, hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now, to the last couple of corners now, his finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.